Okay, today we're learning about something completely new, which is the mean absolute deviation. And you should recognize one word in there, mean, because you've learned it the past few years, you've learned how to calculate the mean. And the mean is the average. Mean means the average. So if you have a set of data, then the mean would be the average number of all of the data. If you could pick one number to be the average or the center of it, then that would be the mean. Now y'all remember when we're solving for the mean, if we're given a set of data or a bunch of numbers, then we add the numbers and divide by how many there are. So if we have five numbers or 5 values, we add them up and then we would divide by 5 because we divide by how many there are, and that gives us the mean. Basically, the mean absolute deviation is taking the mean a step farther. So we're taking whatever the average is and we're figuring out how far away each point is from the average. So we're seeing, are the points extremely spread out where they're all really far from the average, or are all the points very close together where it would be like 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, and then they would all be really close to the mean of 5. So we're trying to see, are they close or far? So the mean absolute deviation is the average, this is mean, the average distance. Distance actually goes with the word absolute. Absolute, if you remember from absolute value, that would look something like this, the absolute value of -6. An absolute value means just the distance of that number to 0. So it's basically going to be the positive value of that number. So the absolute value of -6 would just be 6. -6 is 6 values away from 0. So the absolute value of -6 is 6. So basically that describes distance, because you can't have a negative distance. So mean absolute, that's the average distance of each point to the mean. So up on top where I have a number line and basically a dot plot, I would be looking at how far away, if the mean was 5, how far away, what's the average distance if I found the distance of all of these points to 5, then what would be the average number of their distances? So the first step is you need to find the mean of all your numbers, because you're finding the distance from that mean. So you need to know the mean. So you find the mean of your data. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit. Alright, the second step would be to find the distance of each point to the mean. So find the distance from each point to the mean. And I want us to circle distance. let's make a little side comment. The distance has to be positive. You can't have a negative distance. So finding the distance from each point to the mean is just the positive number. How far away is it from that number? It can't be negative. So find the distance from each point to the mean. And then you find the average of the distances. So I'm going to write it as you find the mean, or the average, of the distances. Alright, so we're going to use the example down here to actually find the mean absolute deviation. So, here are my data points. And the first step, if we look at our steps up here, the first step is to find the mean of our data. So, when we're finding the mean, we add the numbers up and we divide by how many there are. So, I'm going to write out in this box, this is kind of small, but 60 plus 58 plus 54 plus 56 plus 63 plus 65, 62, 59, 56, 58. That should fit better in yours. So I'm going to add up all of those numbers. And then I'm going to divide by how many there are. So I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to divide by 10. And I can do this in my calculator. I can add all of them together, then hit enter. And then I can click divided by 10. And what I'll get, if I could fit it on this side, is I'll get about 59. And I'm just going to have that as a whole number. So I'm going to round that to the nearest whole number. I get 59. So that's my mean. That's my first step. That's my mean of all my data. So I have the mean is 59. Now, my second step is to find the distance from each point to that mean. So here down here in this table, we have all of the values rewritten. These are just the same numbers right here for height that were given up here. So they're just rewritten, but underneath them I'm going to write the distance of each one from the mean that we have. So the mean right here is 59. So the distance from 60 to 59 is just, it's 1 away. 58 to 59, it's 1 away. I want to stop there and show you, even though 60 is 1 higher than 59 and 58 is 1 lower, neither of them are negative because we're just finding out how far away they are. They're both the same distance away. 54 is 5 away. 56 is 3 away. And you can keep filling these in as I go. Alright, we have all of our distances, but the main point of the mean absolute deviation is to find out what the average of the distances is. So, to find the average of those distances, here's my new set of data, right here. I need to find the mean. So I basically found the mean of data, I found the distance of each point, and now I'm finding the mean again. So I'm going to take each of those numbers, you can write it in here, I just don't have room. 1 plus 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 3 plus 0 plus 3 plus 1. I just copied those numbers that are in green. and I'm going to see how many there are. There should be the same number as what I had above, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 of them, so I'm going to divide by 10. So I can do that in my calculator. I can add 1 plus 1 plus 5, add them up, hit enter, and then divide by 10. And we round to the nearest whole number on this. So what I'll round to is I actually get 3. And for my entire data set, for this data set up here, that number 3 is the mean absolute deviation. So I'm going to write the MAD, the mean absolute deviation, equals 3, and that's my final answer. Now we're going to write in this box tomorrow, so you can just leave that blank, but you're going to get some independent practice problems to try, and you'll have 4 of them, and that'll be homework if you don't finish. And then on the back side, I want you to complete numbers 1 through 5, but you can skip number 4. We can do that together unless you feel like you can attempt it, but we haven't really learned some of that vocabulary. So you can skip number 4 on the back, but if you want to try and attempt it, you can. And this will be homework if you don't finish, but you're going to get the rest of the class period to work on it.